Amidst towering mountains and narrow passes, a nation was born, not built on an empire, nor on a single king, but on secret alliances, decisive battles, and decisions that changed the course of Europe. A land that knew the Romans before it knew its own name, that defeated the most powerful imperial dynasties without seeking expansion, that became famous for its soldiers on the battlefields and then chose to distance itself from them forever. How did isolated mountain tribes transform into an invincible union? And why did a small country with no apparent resources become one of the most stable and powerful nations in the world? Was neutrality a choice or a necessity imposed by history? Welcome to this new video in our series on the history of European nations, where today we delve into one of the world's richest countries. We will explore the true story of Switzerland, from blood and swords to constitution and democracy, from battlefields to the seats of global decision-making. This is not the story of an ordinary country. This is the story of Switzerland. Thousands of years before the rise of states and empires, the Swiss Alps were already home to human communities as early as the Stone Age. Hunters and gatherers left traces of their presence in caves and valleys, taking advantage of retreating glaciers and mountain passes that formed natural routes for movement and exchange. Over time, these early groups transitioned into agricultural settlements during the Bronze and Iron Ages, laying the foundations of organized societies based on farming, animal husbandry, and metalworking. By the first millennium BCE, the region was inhabited by the Helvetians, an advanced Celtic people renowned for their metalwork, pottery, and gold jewelry. They established trade networks linking the Alps to wider Europe. While the mountains offered natural protection and a degree of independence, they also made the region strategically valuable and attractive to expanding powers. Around 15 BCE, the Roman Empire extended its authority over the Alps, recognizing their importance at the crossroads of southwestern Europe. Unlike in many conquered territories, the Romans did not destroy Helvetian society. Instead, they integrated it peacefully, constructing paved roads, aqueducts, public baths, theatres, and forums, while facilitating the gradual spread of Christianity. For centuries, the region prospered culturally and economically under Roman rule, becoming an integral part of imperial trade and administration. In the 5th century CE, however, Rome collapsed under waves of Germanic invasions. Yet Roman influence endured, shaping a resilient local identity that survived the empire itself. During the 6th century, the Alps fell under the Germanic kingdom of Burgundy, before being conquered by the Franks. In 800 CE, Charlemagne incorporated the region into his empire, forming the core of the Holy Roman Empire. After his death, Burgundy re-emerged as an independent kingdom until 1032, when it was formally absorbed into the Holy Roman Empire. The opening of the Gotthard Pass in 1220 transformed the region's fortunes. Towns such as Uri and Schwyz flourished as vital trade hubs. Their remote mountain location and strong traditions of self-rule earned them official recognition of autonomy, much to the frustration of powerful dynasties within the empire, particularly the ambitious Habsburgs. Facing growing pressure, Uri, Schwyz, and Unterwalden formed a defensive alliance in 1291. Few at the time could have imagined that this modest pact would become the foundation of the Swiss Confederation. When the Habsburgs attempted to crush the alliance, they suffered a stunning defeat at the Battle of Morgarten in 1315, the first major victory of a unified Swiss force. Buoyed by success, the Confederation expanded throughout the 14th century, absorbing cities that shared opposition to Habsburg rule. Repeated attempts to subdue the Swiss ended in failure, most notably at Sempach, 1386, and Naples, 1388. By the 15th century, the Swiss Confederation had emerged as a formidable regional power, though safeguarding independence remained its overriding concern. In 1436, Zurich attempted to exploit a leadership vacuum in neighbouring Toggenburg, seeking to impose unity on a federation that functioned largely as independent states. Alarmed, the remaining cantons, led by Schwyz, moved against Zurich. Outnumbered, Zurich allied with the Habsburgs, a gamble that failed disastrously. Defeated at St. Jakob, Zurich was readmitted to the Confederation in 1450, but under strict conditions limiting its foreign policy. By the late 15th century, a shared Swiss identity had begun to take clearer shape. Swiss military prowess soon gained fame across Europe. This reputation was cemented in the 1470s when Swiss forces decisively defeated Charles the Bold of Burgundy, halting his expansion and preserving the European balance of power. Further conflict followed with the Swabian League, backed by the Habsburgs, but in the Swabian War of 1499, Swiss forces once again prevailed, confirming their military dominance. During the early 16th century, Swiss soldiers became Europe's most sought-after mercenaries. Even the Pope enlisted their aid, and Swiss forces defeated the French at Novara in 1513. Yet this era ended abruptly in 1515, when the Swiss suffered their first major defeat at Marignano against the Franco-Venetian alliance. The loss marked a turning point, after which Switzerland gradually withdrew from foreign conflicts, laying the groundwork for neutrality. At the same time, the Protestant Reformation reached Switzerland. In Zurich, Ulrich Zwingli led a radical reform movement in the 1520s, but conservative Catholic cantons resisted. The conflict culminated in 1531, when Catholic forces defeated Zurich and Zwingli was killed in battle. A compromise followed. Each canton would determine its own religion, establishing a fragile but lasting peace. This balance enabled Switzerland to remain neutral during the 30 Years' War, 1618–1648. In 1648, the Treaty of Westphalia formally recognized Swiss sovereignty, transforming the Confederation from an imperial alliance into an independent political entity. Despite this, internal unrest persisted. Popular uprisings, most notably in 1653, were brutally suppressed by ruling elites. Enlightenment ideas and the shockwaves of the French Revolution soon destabilized Swiss society further. In 1798, Napoleon invaded Switzerland, dissolving the centuries-old confederation and establishing the Helvetic Republic. Though inspired by Enlightenment principles and legal equality, the new system abolished cantonal autonomy and proved deeply unpopular. Recognizing its failure, Napoleon restored cantonal sovereignty in 1803, while preserving civil reforms. Following the Napoleonic Wars, divisions resurfaced. Cantons used different currencies, measurements, languages, and restricted movement across internal borders. Tensions culminated in 1847, when conservative Catholic cantons formed the Sonderbund. Parliament declared the alliance illegal, triggering a brief civil war. The Sonderbund was decisively defeated, particularly at Lucerne, ending the last major internal conflict. In 1848, Switzerland adopted a new constitution, transforming it into a modern federal state. The 22 cantons were unified politically and economically, individual rights were guaranteed, and executive power was shared among 7 federal councillors, ensuring balance and stability. Further democratic innovation followed in 1874, when citizens gained the right to initiate national referendums. establishing Switzerland as the world's leading model of direct democracy. By the late 19th century, Switzerland had become an industrial power and elite tourist destination. World War I disrupted this prosperity, but neutrality preserved independence. During World War II, neutrality proved controversial, as Switzerland traded with both sides and accepted limited numbers of refugees, including Jews. Post-war scrutiny exposed Swiss banks' role in holding looted Nazi assets, leading to a 2 billion franc settlement in 2000. In modern times, Switzerland has remained cautious internationally, rejecting EU membership and joining the United Nations only in 2002. Women gained the right to vote in 1971, one of the latest such reforms in Europe. Today, Switzerland is home to over 8.5 million people, speaking German, French, Italian and Romansh, and stands as one of the world's most stable, prosperous and democratic nations. Small in size, yet vast in experience, Switzerland offers a unique model of neutrality, federalism and direct democracy, one that continues to inspire global attention. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.